Normally start by saying to you, let's reflect over the 90 minutes, but I'm going to ask you immediately about kind of 90 minutes and beyond, and it was the key decision, the core decision, and it was a penalty award that's divided the game. What was your view? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously to concede the penalty so late in the game, literally last kick of the ball is very frustrating. At the time I didn't think it was a penalty kick, far from it. And I watched it back straight in the changing room before I spoke to the players, and it's definitely not a penalty kick. I mean, the referee in that situation has to be 100% sure. He was quite far back in the play as well, very quick at awarding it. Players dived, that's the bottom line. Doesn't matter how we dress that up. We can call it gamesmanship, we can call it try to win points for your team. How he can give that penalty in 100%, I'll never know. And when he sees it back, which I hope he does watch it back, because it's only fair that he comes out and says it's a mistake. Mistakes we can handle as long as you admit them. I'll be the first to admit when we concede penalties. Inverness at home, Stonewall penalty kick. Today, it's a free kick for us for simulation.
I've never seen you so enraged by a decision, and it's we kind of reflect post-match, we take a wee bit of time to calm our heads, and we kind of say, right, how do we put perspective in this? But there is no doing that today. Do you get any opportunity to speak with the referee post-match?
I spoke to him in the park, and I told him I didn't say anything untoward, I didn't use bad language, I just told him it wasn't a penalty kick, and that was before I'd seen it. And I also explained that he had to be 100% clear. His response was, go and ask your defender. But again, it's frustrating for me and the players because it now affects our weekend, it affects our whole working week that we had last week, and it now affects our mentality going into the next game, because we've lost points that we shouldn't have lost today. Yes, we can look at how the penalties conceded in the build-up, absolutely. We can look at a quality in the final third that wasn't quite there today. But in terms of our defensive performance, it was there. And the boys worked so hard for 90 plus minutes, and to get undone by a decision like that, I mean, again, you get in trouble now for speaking, and you've seen Jim Goodwin a couple of weeks ago getting a long ban, but that today, that decision is up there with the worst I've seen.
You've taken time yourself to reflect, but still want to kind of put across the kind of strength of feeling that you've got. What do you do in terms of going into the dressing room now?
I told the players after the game, in terms of their work rate and commitment to the game and the way they went toe-to-toe, a very physical side, I've got no negative towards that. I'm frustrated with the scoreline, performance-wise. We could have been better going forward, and that's always the hardest part of football. Like I keep saying, it wasn't our day. We've hit the post, we've hit the bar, we've arrived late to the game, we've lost a player after 5 minutes, and then we can see a 94th minute penalty. Sometimes you have to go away and take it on the chin and just say, this is not our day. I'm sure we'll have plenty more days when it is our day, but we need to get the players going, stay positives within the game, and the supporters stayed to the end. Applauded the players off the park, because I think they realised how much work rate they had put into the game and how bad a decision it actually was. Not that it's going to help us going forward at the moment. You
mentioned that kind of game of no-luck bingo there in terms of from the bus not arriving in time all the way through. If I could pick up a couple of threads there, Jamie Gullen, any early news?
Not yet. I mean, that's a couple of times now Jamie's broken down. He's trained all week really well. He's looked really, really sharp. We obviously played last week and it's came back again, so we're now going to have to look at that in more depth. It's not good when a player keeps breaking down with that area of his body, his groin, hamstring area. We've seen it over the years with players that they've had problems there, and it does affect them. And Jamie's a powerful guy as well, so he's putting a lot of power into that area of his body, but we need to get it right now. It's a blow for us, there's no doubt about that. The good thing is I think we've got it fairly early, but it is something we're going to have to look at.
Certainly with opportunities, particularly across the first half. Were you happy enough with the work rate in the final third, or was there an element of decision making that you think could have been better?
Our decision making could have been better in the second half. I felt in the first half the decisions we made were quite good. We didn't execute them as well as we wanted, so the quality wasn't as high as we hoped. Second half I felt we made a couple of poor decisions. We had a wee chance towards the end with Dylan that he should have shot. We made a poor decision in the build up to the penalty kick. Two poor decisions actually, because the Morton player's offside as well. When the ball's forwards, we didn't actually need to do anything. We could have let it run and the game is effectively over. So we've got to appreciate and respect decisions that we made leading up to it weren't great. But the referee has to respect that he's made a wrong decision.
What about how your team dealt with the kind of physical nature of today's game? You see a bit more in terms of what they've got in the locker there?
Absolutely, felt they were excellent in the physical side of it. Big corner at the back, and Liam Dick again, very, very strong. I don't think Jamie's had a save in the game. But the frustration point is that we need to turn these 0-0s into 1-0s for us. We need to turn the 1-0 defeats into 1-1s and all that sort of stuff. And we'll get there, we will, because we've shown we've got quality. but as I say, it's pretty sore at the moment. It's pretty raw for the players and myself and the supporters. But in terms of effort, commitment, and work rate, I don't have any complaints with the players. They're an excellent bunch of players. They've got great attitude towards training, great attitude towards game, and it's my job to pick them up from these sort of dunts that come along. But we'll get there.
Big John starts up top. Is there a wee bit of a period of kind of bedding in going to be required in terms of how he's going to be handled by the centre halves and defensive lines?
Yeah, it's a very hard place to come in your first start, in Scotland, and it's a heck of a welcome to Scottish football. But I felt we'd done okay. We know what his attributes are and what his attributes are not. I felt we could have maybe helped him a little bit with better runs off the ball, but I can understand on this tight pitch and the way the game was going back to front quite a lot that the players were maybe a wee bit tentative to do that, being out of position. We go into another game which will be similar on Wednesday night up at Gayfield against Arbroath. It's going to be a physical game and a really hard game. So it's a tough period for us at the moment in terms of games and how quickly they're coming. But the players have got great mentality to handle this. I've got no issue with that. We just have to dust ourselves down, recover now and get ourselves ready for Wednesday night.
Wednesday night's on the horizon. I think all of these games you would be saying are must-wins. I know the kind of language you use, but it becomes even more important in terms of how the league table looks and maybe a little extra bit of fire in the belly in terms of rectifying what you perceive as a wrong today.
Yeah, we just need to be better in the final third. I think defensively, for the most part of the season, we've actually been okay. We've just been undone by moments in games. We've never really been cut open as such. We've never really been bombarded. Probably today was most we've had to deal with long balls and high balls, but that's part and parcel of football, and we stood up to that. I wouldn't say it goes far as saying must-win games because there's a long season ahead of us. But of course, we want to win as many games as we can, pick up as many points as we can, put pressure on teams above us. But I think we all know now this league is so tight. Every single game, I've yet to see a real going over from anybody. But we need to find a little bit of consistency. Which we're kind of finding that within our play. We're finding that within our team selection. But we just need to brush up in front of goal a bit.
Just like yourself and your team there, I'm sure the fans will be dusting themselves down and up in good numbers and good voice again on Wednesday. Yeah,
great travelling support again. Not the easiest places to get to from Kirkcaldy. Also, it costs a lot of money to come to football now, so we want to try and repay them and give them something to smile about going down the road. Probably tonight they'll know as well that we were a wee bit robbed in that game, but it doesn't make the feeling any better.
I'm sure they'll respect your honesty. Thanks, Ian.
Thank you.